everyone. Welcome back to my channel, Diamonds and Washi. My name is Katie, and welcome to this week's WIP and Chat. If you're new, first off, welcome. I'm really glad you're here and hope you enjoyed today's video. And if you're back, as always, welcome back. WIP stands for work in progress, so I'm going to be working on my current diamond painting project, which I'll tell you more about in just a moment. Chat just means that I am going to chat with you for the next hour. So we're going to talk about life, diamond painting, YouTube, and everything in between. So feel free to pull out a project to work alongside me if you would like. Or you could treat this like a podcast. That's often what I do when I'm listening to WIP and Chats. And it feels like I'm co-working, like I'm body doubling, and I'm able to get more done around the house and stuff when I've got some company in my ear. That said, let me cover what I'm working on and with today. And as much of these things as are still available in stock, I'll have them linked in the description box below. So the kit itself is called Persephone from Diamond Art Club and the artist Roy Trinh. Here's a look at the original artwork, and I really feel like I want to emphasize, just for my own validation here, this is a huge kit. It's enormous, especially for like Roy Trinh's artwork. 70 by 105 centimeters. I talk a lot about how I feel like a standard diamond painting size is 50-ish by 70-ish. So it's like that times two, but I'm over halfway done, which is fun. You could see from here, I'm getting up towards the top here. The section we're going to be working on today, kind of sideways, is going to be the section where she's holding the pomegranate. So we'll see if there's any special drills in the mix there. Unfortunately, this kit is discontinued, so if you're wanting to track it down, I'm going to point you to, I'm about to yawn. I'm sorry, you guys. My sleep schedule is all out of whack. I apologize if I just made you yawn. They're contagious, even through the screen, I swear. If you want to track down this kit, you're going to have to check in destash groups or apps or places like Mercari and eBay or Poshmark. So hopefully you're able to snag it. If not, there's some other pieces by Roy Trinh that Diamond Art Club carries that maybe would also catch your eye. And some other Hades and Persephone kits too, so depending what you're looking for. Accessories wise, so this pen is from Swampwood. I opened it in a recent video, but I haven't used it yet. This shop, I believe the website's still open to get blanks, but I haven't seen him turning diamond painting pens in a while, unfortunately. But a lot of other pen shops will carry pens that are made from blanks that Swampwood makes, which is kind of cool. In honor of the pomegranate, we have this, it's a fruit, this berry-licious scented patty wax brick. I'm going to use this one in my single placer, and I think I've had this one for going on 6 years. I don't know how old this is, but it'll be fine. They last forever. And then Pure Bliss sent over some putty for me to test. I think the camera really wants to focus on Persephone's face here. I'm gonna have to fix that. The Pure Bliss sent over some test putty. I think they're looking at making some changes to some of their formulas, and so I'm gonna test this out and see how it goes today. And then I am going to try out this Firefly tray from a recent Oops sale that they did that I opened up. It's the Ignite XL size, and I haven't had the chance to try this size of tray from them before. I'm really curious and intrigued, so we're going to give that a try too. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I'm going to try to make this not a yawny WIP and Chat. Let me take a quick drink, see if the caffeine in this tea does anything for me. Now let me load up my pen. Let me do that first, actually, and then we will go ahead and open up this section and get started. So, hi, how are you doing today? I hope that you had a really nice weekend and that your Monday is off to a wonderful start so far. It is currently Sunday evening when I'm filming this. Hold on a sec. Let me see. Sometimes the multi-placer... Yeah, I do not need the extra washi on this, usually with Swampwood pens. Sometimes they're a little bit snug. We're just going to cross our fingers that this will... Okay, close enough-ish. So you have to be careful with the metal. Even though it's not a screw-in, I'm twisting to kind of lock it into... There we go, okay. Lock it into place. Metal multi-placers, you do want to be careful because they... there's no give to them the way that there can be with like the little plastic multi-placers. You don't want to break your pen by shoving it in there. That's why most pen turners will turn it so that the end the multiplacer goes in is going to be a little bit on the looser side, and so you usually have to add something like washi tape or the little like plastic rings to it to help it fit without falling out. So whatever putty I had in here last, I don't remember what it was really soft. There we go. Okay. I like to start with a really clean slate when I'm loading up some new putty, so I just want to clean everything out of there. But typically the putty that I'll put in my pen will last about, one WIP and Chat, or a week between WIP and Chats. Ooh, that smells really good. That smells like one of my scents that I have with them. I do have a couple of scents that I've done in collaboration with Pure Bliss. There's a couple of seasonal ones, and it looks like a dye that was in there. Okay. There's a couple of seasonal ones. I think my winter one is probably sold out at this point. There might be, I don't know if there's any of my Valentine's collab left, but if you're looking to get a cute cover minder, and if you like Pure Bliss Wax Company's putty, I will try to remember to link to those scents below, the ones that are available. We're working on a spring scent and cover minder. It is probably going to be something citrusy, and we're working on some other stuff too. So hopefully some fun stuff coming down the pipe for you guys. Okay, let me load up this end. We'll see. I wonder how that putty is different. It smells so good. It smells, is that my cactus blossom scent? I can't remember. I'm really terrible at identifying scents, you guys. Patty Wax, they have the regular Patty Wax bricks like this one, and they also sell Patty Wax Super Sticky. I do find that the Super Sticky lasts for longer, but they don't have as many scent options in the Super Sticky. Just the Patty Wax bricks have a lot of different scents, and they last for a decent amount of time for me, so no real complaints. Okay, let me open up this section and I'll set the focus so that it's not constantly trying to focus on Persephone's face over here, as stunning as it is. These sections I decided to work within, I decided to go big or go home with these section sizes, and I'm really enjoying it a lot. I think I talked about this last week probably, but I feel like I'm making progress. It feels like I have more momentum, I guess. I like the bigger size sections. It's like 17 something centimeters this way and 15 this way. I don't know. It's working for my brain. That will be several of the perforated plastic cover papers if you use those. But okay, what color should we start with? Man, there's a ton of that particular red color. Let's go with that one. Okay, so as I was saying earlier, welcome in. Hi, I hope you had a really nice weekend and had the chance to catch up on sleep, get some relaxation time in. I just hope you're doing really well. We had a pretty quiet weekend here at home, and even still, I'm glad to be wrapping things up and thinking about the week ahead, which is going to be a pretty eventful one. We're going to be traveling partway through the week, and I'm very, very excited. But before we get too much into that, I wanted to talk a little bit about my thoughts on this project so far and how it's going and kind of what I'm thinking next and for what painting to travel with and whatnot. So this kit, it's been a really interesting experience, and this is one of those times where I'm not using the word interesting to actually be insulting. I've been intrigued by this experience and the fact that it's been a rare occasion where I haven't felt burnt out working on a really large diamond painting. It's been at least a couple of years since I've really found myself wanting to and really enjoying working on a large diamond painting. And I don't know, there's just different things that feel like they've changed this year, and this is one of them. I don't know if it'll be something that goes on like all year or anything like that, but I'm glad that for the moment I'm enjoying working on a large canvas so that I can actually work on some of these kits in my stash that I'm otherwise a little bit intimidated by. The positives, there are a lot of positives about this one. The drill quality itself, when they're not clumped together, is fantastic. You can see like how they lined up They lined up really well in this tray. There's a couple like random, like if you just tap it there, you can see how neatly they lined up, right? It's minimal in terms of trash, which is really nice, especially coming from some other older Diamond Art Club kits I've worked on recently. The rendering looks really beautiful, and overall the quality is really solid. The one thing that I am running into is, like I think I showed you guys last week, is that some of the drill colors are really prone to sticking together, and I'm having to like crunch them apart, and it really is almost like they bagged these before they had fully cured or something like that. I don't know what it is, or it's something weird with the static, but that's kind of annoying. But as soon as I split them apart, they're beautiful to work with. So it's just a little bit of extra effort. But the grid is snug without being like hurt your hand trying to muscle them in when you're multi-placing, kind of snug. And I'm finding myself enjoying it a lot. It is taking me longer to finish than I'm kind of accustomed to with diamond paintings, which of course you guys know. Diamond paint at your own pace. Don't feel rushed at your own pace, and don't feel rushed. It's more of just what I'm kind of noticing myself for my own kind of typical pace, and that's that, oh, this kit's going to take me a good full 2 weeks to complete. I'm averaging around 2 sections a day, so that follows. And the tricky part is that since we're about to be traveling, I'm torn on whether or not to take this one with me and try to squeeze it in while I'm traveling. I would love to make this a February finish, or do I want to take a different snack size kit with me instead? So I don't know. Last week when I talked with you guys, I was feeling a little bit twitchy and feeling like, do I want to go ahead and just kit up a ton of different diamond paintings right now? And I haven't done that, but I keep thinking about doing it. And then I start to think about doing it and actually doing it. And I go, but I just want to do one more section on Persephone first. And then here I am. But we'll see if going into travel, like maybe a round drill kit would be really nice to mix it up. Maybe I could grab like a snack size kit that has round drills that I could travel with and finish before the end of the month. Yeah, maybe something like that. I'm not sure. When you're traveling, do you like to travel with any of your crafts? Whether it's if you're flying or driving. We're going to be driving. We're going to Phoenix. This time, all 4 of us are going, and we're going for a long weekend to spend with my parents who are snowbirding there. And spring training has officially started, and my parents got tickets for us to all go to a game on Saturday, and we'll get some good family time in. And it's really not a bad drive at all from where we live, and I love it. The kids are really excited, and will it just be some nice family time. But yeah, my mom has her diamond painting there, of course. She's had multiple diamond paintings there. And, so we'll hopefully get some time to diamond paint together like we did last time. I don't know if we'll try to film a WIP and Chat together. It is really fun when we're visiting and we're able to film a video together. But it's a little bit different in this setup. This place that they're renting and stuff. So I don't know how practical it'll be, but we'll see. Either way, you'll see a month in a review from me pretty soon that covers the month of February. And I don't think I'm going to be able to finish this before the end of the month. But maybe the very beginning of March. TBD. But yes, this kit's coming along really well. And I don't have a specific kit to work on in mind to work on next, aside from round drills would probably be nice, because I don't even know how many square drill kits in a row at this point. A lot, which is just as well, because my stash seems to be pretty square drill heavy. Now, I don't buy kits based on their drill shape. I tend to just buy kits based on the artwork. When I was buying kits a little bit more frequently, and when I was more like, oh, if it's, even close to my taste, then I will grab it. And then if I'm on the fence about it, then whether or not it's squares or round drills might sway me. If I'm like, oh, I have too many square drill kits and this one is just, another square drill kit in the mix. I feel like I'm not articulating myself really well. I'm sorry. I feel so scatterbrained this evening. I'm going to try to get my life together. Anyway, now I am at a point where even, like, I'm not getting kits that I'm on the fence about. I'm only getting kits that I'm obsessed with and would cry if I didn't have them. Like kits that are instant rainy day stash kinds of kits. Like that kind of artwork is what I'm getting at this point. So, but it is nice to put a little dent in the square drill kits in my stash, because when I look at the kits in my collection, and you can sort by drill shape, and it used to be very evenly split, but just over the past year or two, it's gotten very heavily weighted in favor of square drill kits. So, yeah, this is evening the playing field a little bit. But yeah, this one's been really fun to work on. Another rainy day stash kit, another slightly older kits for that Refresh Your Stash Challenge by Lisette. It's been fun, and Fairy Tales and Folklore in general has been a really enjoyable event to get to be a part of hosting. And really appreciate everyone that has joined in and has watched our event videos and shared your thoughts and stuff. Hope that you're enjoying the event as much as we are. Kate and I have been having, honestly, just so much fun covering this topic and this whole theme that we both enjoy a lot. And love that you've been a part of it alongside us. So for my week 4 video, which I'm going to try to film here in the next couple of days so I don't have to film it while I'm in Arizona, I have been kicking around exactly what I want to do for my last video, and I have a couple of ideas in mind. I'm going to sit down to really brainstorm a little bit more and see if something else floats to the surface. But right now I'm liking the idea of doing a bit of a deep dive on Korean folklore, specifically with regards to what from K-pop Demon Hunters is based on actual like traditional Korean folklore. I think that would be really, I don't know, I think that'd be really interesting. And even if you're not into the show K-pop Demon Hunters, it's still hopefully interesting in that it covers folklore from a region that I don't feel like we maybe talk about as much. My first event video centered around Persephone and Hades and Persephone, and it's like, well, Greek mythology, I feel like it's plenty of time in the spotlight, but it's nice sometimes to branch into other kinds of mythology as well, and I've been enjoying kind of dipping my toes into that too. So we'll see, but I'm looking forward to sharing that week 4 video with you guys on Saturday. It's been an interesting week as far as filming schedule goes. I got to the weekend and I had every intention of putting up a video on Sunday. My typical rhythm with putting up videos and recording is that I will have 5 videos go up each week. I tend to take off one weekday and one weekend day, sort of just depending on what I have in mind and what I want to share. But this weekend, I just got to Saturday night and thought, I'm really tired. I'm really tired, and I just kind of want to take the evening off of recording. And so I did, and that's always a little bit nerve-wracking, not to get too in the weeds of things, because it's far from an exact science, and I'm absolutely not like a professional. I forever feel like I'm making it up as I go along in some ways. But you probably have heard other people talk about the almighty YouTube algorithm. And there's a part of me that was nervous about the idea of sort of deviating from what I normally do and only putting up 4 videos in a week and having 2 days off in between videos. There's a tiny part of me that goes, but what if the algorithm just reads right into that and decides to tank other videos of mine in retribution? I don't know, you guys. I really feel like a lot of the time I'm just making it up and hoping that what I'm doing is working out okay. But this was one of those rare times when I thought, I'm not going to muscle through this one. I'm just going to let myself take one night off and hope everything is fine. So I guess we'll see. We'll see how this video seems to reach others. And then along with that, I'm wanting to film ahead as much as I can with being out of town. I want to have my normal videos going up and whatnot. And so, especially things that are a little more time sensitive or date specific. So with going out of town right when the month is changing, it does make things a little tricky. It's fine to month by month in a review video, but I think Pure Bliss will probably have a box for me to do a sneak peek of, and I need to let her know to send that to me in Arizona if she hasn't sent it already. And then just lost my train of thought. I'm sorry, you guys. My sneak peek from Diamond Art Club. They're shipping to my parents' place in Arizona for me, which is so sweet. And then I'll film ahead for Fairy Tales and Folklore. Like, that's not a huge deal, but just being intentional about filming ahead and stuff. But yeah, you guys will still have regular videos from me and whatnot while I'm out of town. And what else? Oh, I was gonna ask. I wrote a little note for myself. I'm really excited. This is sort of just tangentially related, but I should, hypothetically, for my month in review video, I should have my next logbook in hand to be able to show you. And I will let you guys in on a little preview, a little sneak peek insider info here for those of you that watch my WIP and Chats. I don't know if any of you follow the shop Archer and Olive. They are the ones that made the logbook that I have been using. Like, my second ever logbook is Archer and Olive. They have really beautiful planners and stationery and whatnot. And they just had their spring drop with, I swear, every single one of their different themes was calling my name. Now, I'm sure at some point in my videos, especially like when I was really agonizing over which logbook to use for my second ever diamond painting logbook, this would have been 2.5 years ago, I think, maybe 3 years ago. I think I was lamenting that I just was never able to find a logbook, or rather a dot grid journal with dragons on the front, specifically in the size that I wanted, which is I always get this mixed up. B5 or B6 is the size, whichever one is bigger. It's bigger than like the A5 size that's otherwise really common. Anyway, I was unable to find a dot grid journal in this size with dragons on it. I had spent weeks scouring Etsy, scouring other websites, no dice. So my second logbook ended up being, it was one from Archer and Olive that I thought was absolutely gorgeous that has the compass on the front. Well, Archer and Olive, as they start previewing the themes for the things they're going to be releasing for their spring drop, one of them, it has dragons. It has a dragon flying towards a castle. I about screeched in excitement. I was so over the moon, and I saw they were going to release it in the size that I wanted as well, along with some other coordinating goodies. And I had my alarm set. It was like 7 a.m. my time on Wednesday morning. It was like, Adam, I'm getting up with the kids tomorrow because I'm going to be up that early anyway. And they had even more. There's this beautiful one with like a stack of books next to flowers. And then there was this one that I did end up also getting that is like this really gorgeous deep red color with a sword on the front. You guys know I love my fantasy, but the color scheme of it and everything really strongly reminded me of Alana from the Song of the Lioness Quartet by Tamara Pierce. So I grabbed those. I grabbed the set of dragon themed washi tape that was coordinating with the journal, and it looks like it's going to be delivered to, oh wow, look at all these that must have gotten stuck to the putty. These don't go here. Hold on, let me do this. I noticed that there's a little bit of, I need to clean up some of the overspill on that putty because it's grabbing drills that it shouldn't be. And I'm accidentally placing all these diamonds. Okay, anyway, so I think that Archer and Olive still has while they're not in stock, they opened up a pre-order for the stuff that sold out. So if you were wanting to go and see what they had as part of their release drop, you totally could. And I think that the pre-orders will come into stock over the summer. So hopefully you're able to snag any must-haves, especially if you're a fellow dragon lover. And apologies in advance if I enabled you, but I was so excited. And it's gonna have to be that one as my next logbook. So I should have it in hand to share with you in my month in review for February. Now, I also will do a flip through video where I flip through my second ever logbook. I did a video where I flipped through my first logbook from start to finish a while back, but I thought we could flip through my second one. The reason that I didn't do one, I originally had planned to do one this weekend, is because I need to go through, and there's a number of kits in there that it didn't come with like a picture of the kit in some way that I could put in my logbook. So I'm gonna have to like print pictures basically. And I just need to go through the process of doing that because I didn't do that as I went along. I just figured, I'll play catch up whenever it comes time for me to do a flip through video, which the time is now. So I'm gonna get on that. So yeah, look for a flip through video at some point here soon because that'll be fun to do. Look back through the kits I've worked on throughout the course of that logbook, which it has like 150-ish kits in it. No, that's not right. 100 and something. I don't remember how many pages are in it. But a lot. That's a lot. It'll be fun. So what were we up to this weekend? Well, I got a text on Saturday morning from my friend Rachel asking if I wanted to hang out and run errands with her. And I don't know if you guys have friends like this. I feel like this is a big thing in college. And Adam actually did this with one of his friends the other day too. But there's a name that they have for it in a particular culture. And I don't remember what it is. But I just want to go run errands together. And the idea being that it doesn't matter what we're doing. It's just fun to get to be spending time together and just sort of doing life together. And so I had been wanting to get together with Rachel and missing her and stuff. And when she texted to ask, I was like, yes, I have no plans. I know Adam really wants to make sure he's getting some good time in with the boys. And so he's not going to be opposed. I, of course, still checked with him. But yeah, he was like, no, go, have fun. And so we ran a few errands. She had to get some stuff for a whole awards ceremony that she's being honored at in a couple weeks. And then return some stuff. It was just really, really, really nice. One of those good for the soul friends, and I'm ever grateful for the online friendships that I have and the community that I found here through all of you. And I'm also just really grateful for those in-person friendships too. Both of them are such a blessing. And as much as I'm 100% an introvert, sometimes getting that in-person time with a dear friend, longtime friend, is good for the soul. It was also really fun as we went to Target. That was kind of our last stop. She had to grab a couple of grocery things and whatnot and do a return. And we're slow browsing the book section because of course we are. We're both readers. And I had noticed when I got in her car that she was listening to the audiobook for The Priority of the Orange Tree, which is on my TBR for someday. I've heard it has dragons in it, and I love fantasy, of course, and so I've heard that I will likely enjoy it. And so I was like, oh, well, I didn't normally think of Rachel as really being into fantasy or high fantasy novels, but then we're in Target and we're kind of browsing, and I see the Brandon Sanderson Mistborn trilogy on the shelves. And I point out, it's like, oh, I know you're reading Priority of the Orange Tree, and this is similarly longer book series this author has done. And I was like, have you heard of Brandon Sanderson? And she's like, oh my gosh, yes, I'm right in the middle of the first book. And she's like, actually, she's in the middle of multiple books. She's like, I started the first Stormlight book. I'm in the middle of the first Mistborn book. She's like, oh, and last week I finished this kind of offshoot book of his called Elantris. And I was like, shut the front door. you're kidding me right now. I just finished Elantris last week. And she was like, no way. And she's like, wasn't it so good? I was like, yeah, it was so good. She's like, one of my favorite books I've read in like the last year. And so we just nerded out in the middle of Target. This was just such a fun novelty for me because, again, I don't really normally think of Rachel as being a fantasy girly. She doesn't like romantasy, but she likes fantasy. She's liking these fantasy books lately. And so that was just delightful. And I just thought, what in the actual heck are the chances that we both happen to be reading this book that came out in 2005 by this author? I mean, yeah, like the author is obviously very well known and everything, but it was still just a really fun surprise. And so then we were talking about it and I was like, yeah, and I finished it and I started Warbreaker and all this other stuff. We'll talk about that later when we get to the end of the video, when I always do my reading and watching and listening to. But yeah, it was fun to be like, oh, we have this thing in common. So I can't really do what she does though in terms of having multiple books going at once. I don't know, it overwhelms my brain a little bit too much. I maybe the same kind of reason that I tend to be a one WIP person. I like the focus and momentum that comes with doing just one book or one WIP. Yeah, the focusing part of it helps me a lot. Are we really, like, we're halfway into this WIP and Chat and we're still on the first color that I started with. These are big sections. I'm going to blame it at least partly on that. And there's confetti. You can kind of see, I mean, there's some line blocking, but there's also a fair amount of confetti. I'm having fun though. I hope you guys are enjoying seeing these little outlines come to life and everything too. So yes, we got to spend some time together and she very sweetly got me some Starbucks. She's like, this is a thank you for coming out with me. I was like, you're acting like I'm doing you a favor. I just wanted to spend time with you. So yeah, it was a good outing. And then today it was pretty chill. Adam ended up taking Micah out with him he had a gift card to Old Navy to get some new jeans. He's been very badly in need of new jeans for a while. And so he was like, but Micah really wants to get out of the house, so I'll take him with me. And they had a good time out too. And Connor and I just chilled at home. Though actually Connor then turned around and fell asleep. He was getting frustrated because our internet kept going out. And he was like, I'm just going to go upstairs and pet Skip and rest for a bit. And 15-20 minutes go by and Connor hasn't come back down and it's real quiet. And I just had a feeling and I went upstairs and sure enough, Connor is passed out, fast asleep in our bed. He fell asleep when we were visiting my parents in Arizona. Where did that drill go? Is it you? It's you. Okay, it's like I felt one fall off. And there's part of me that goes, is he about to go through a growth spurt? Is this like pre-pubescent behavior? Like, what is happening? He's never been an afternoon napper and it's happened a couple of times now. So he seems to mostly still be getting plenty of sleep at night, but I just wonder if like things are changing. I don't know. We'll keep an eye on him and make sure it really seems like he's getting enough sleep. He doesn't seem to be acting like he's otherwise tired during the day. His teacher hasn't said anything, but I don't know. But yeah, it was a quiet Sunday. And they're really excited, like I said, for our little road trip to Arizona. I told Adam that after the last trip, when I just drove out by myself with the two kids and Adam stayed back, that I had done so much mapping out ahead of time of where I thought it made sense for us to stop that I was like, I think I've got it about down to how many stops we should do and where they should be. And so be a little bit less fly by the seat of our pants than we have been in past years when we've driven out and it's just like, wait, can you check and see like where the next gas station is or where the big gap in gas stations are? And, oh, are you hungry? Oh, wait, now you're hungry? Okay, I guess we'll stop for food. It's like, no, let's plan it out so we can be really strategic about it. And our kids are such good little travelers. And yeah, so it'll be a little road trip and some family time. We'll see how Micah does at the baseball game. We're going to try to go to a game on Saturday. We went last year and we would get up from time to time to take Micah for a little lap to stretch his legs, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. He's another year older, so he'll be fine. I have been continuing to try to take care of myself and my health as much as I can. This is me reporting back for those of you that I remember that I was like, keep me accountable. I have been very consistent about doing my physical therapy exercises. There was one day that I was just so tired that I did not do them because I do them at the end of the day, like when we're winding down for bed, and I just set up my like foam roller on the floor and stuff, and in the bedroom and everything, because that's where there's the most space. It's the easiest. And so there was one night where I was just so tired. I was like, I'm just going to skip it for tonight. And then there was one other night that I was having enough pain that I thought, I don't know if this is the kind of it's going to get worse before it gets better kind of pain that you should power through, or if I should take a rest day. And I had done a couple of days of powering through, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to take one rest day with this pain and just see. And I was glad that I did. And since I've gotten back to it, I have to be honest, I think maybe I'm noticing a little bit of an improvement, not in my range of motion, but some of the exercises are not as painful to do as they were before. There were one or two exercises that I, honest to goodness, it was like I couldn't even do them because it was so painful. But I feel like I've gotten some of the flexibility back, or I've strengthened maybe the muscles enough that I have some of that. But I still feel like overall my range of motion, especially in kind of day-to-day stuff, feels very limited, very, very limited. So it's like in some ways I think I'm noticing some improvements, and in some ways it feels like it's doing nothing. But the important thing was I want to be able to go to my doctor at my appointment in the first week of March and go, I've been doing my physical therapy exercises the past month, and this is now where we're at. And so what are you thinking for next steps? I honestly, I have no idea. I don't know if she is going to suggest more physical therapy or if she's going to suggest the orthopedic route. I don't know. All I know is I'm trying really hard to take a better care of my body. This whole I feel like once you hit your mid-30s, and I remember some of you guys commenting as much when I said this in an earlier video, it was like you hit your mid-30s and your body goes, okay, it's time to pay the piper. And certain stuff that was easy to just sort of let roll right off, it's like that's not going to work anymore. So yeah, I've got that. I'm working on I had such weird issues this week with trying to call and get a hold of people for different appointments and getting really jacked up answering services. I have tried to call the dermatologist 2 times to get on the schedule with them, and both times it went to a weird answering service and the person hung up on me partway through, and I'm like, I don't know what to do about this. I'm gonna try calling it maybe a different time of day. Maybe I'll luck out. It was very strange. Maybe I'll try. I don't think I can do it online, but I'll see what I can figure out with that. And then we had a whole misadventure this week. Well, before I get into that, I am still struggling a bit, mental health wise. I've been dealing with a lot of anxiety, especially when I'm trying to sleep at night. I try to read until I'm so tired that I can just put my phone down and immediately be falling off to sleep. And that just hasn't been working as well this week. And so the anxiety surrounding a variety of different things that I don't want to be like a Debbie Downer and go too far down the rabbit hole on. It just has been a lot this week. So I did chat with a therapist about that, and just see there's some things I can do to still be able to turn my brain off so I can get some sleep. But yeah, just different things I'm trying to do to take care of mind, body, all that good stuff. We had a whole misadventure this week though with poor Adam. Adam woke up on, was it Thursday morning? I think it was Thursday morning, and went, hey, it was Thursday morning. He's like, my tooth is really hurting. It's been hurting since last night, and I've taken, Advil and Tylenol, and it's still like really, really hurting. To me, it actually, from as an outside observer, I swore I could see like some swelling from the outside, like on his cheek. And I was like, oh, whoa, yikes. And he just was in a ton of pain. And the thing is that we weren't like established with a dentist with our current insurance. It was something that was on my list. I'd actually made a couple of calls this week, and weirdly enough ended up with weird answering service issues. I'm like, what is happening? Like, what are these getting outsourced somewhere? Like, why can I not get a hold of like an office person? Like, why can't I make an appointment? Anyway, so he had to call a few different places, and I'm like checking to see with our insurance on the website to see like, hey, who even takes this? And here's these different numbers to try to call these different places. He finally got a hold of someone, and they were able to get him in that day. And I'm thinking he's probably got a cavity, maybe a cracked tooth that he's going to need. Bless you. Maybe worst case, like he's going to need a root canal or something like that. And so he heads out the door to the dentist, and then he texts me and he's like, yeah, they're going to have to pull this tooth out. Bless you. His sneezes are so over the top. Our poor animals, they will like run away. They're like, goodness, get it together, man.
Is that my fault?
It's hilarious. Okay, we finished the color. Anyway, Adam texts me. He's like, yeah, they're going to have to pull this whole tooth out and put in a bone graft. And I was like, they what? What? I expected you to go in and be like, yeah, it's a bad cavity and they have to do a filling. So, sorry, there's a lot of drills to pour out. That was like oh my gosh, okay. And I was fully expecting that whatever they needed to do, most dentists, they can't get you in same day. Thankfully, they were able to get him in same day. But now we're about to go down this whole rabbit hole of trying to fight with insurance and see, like, they don't want to cover about anything because dental insurance sucks, like really, really sucks. But we're going to see if it's like anything that we can have any luck with appealing, because it's like it was going to get infected and infect the bone, and that can like go to your heart. Like, this was a medical necessity. It was not optional for them. Like, it was not an option for them to just like leave this tooth in. So I don't know, you guys, I'm going to try to figure that out after we get back from Arizona. But any positive vibes you want to send to us for that. I hate dealing with insurance stuff and trying to get them to cover stuff. It's a whole nightmare. The good news is, the most important thing is that they were able to get him taken care of, and he's had very, very, very little pain. Like, I think he took the, glorified ibuprofen they gave him a couple of times, basically. And was like, it was just, the pain was, it's one of those things where, the pain was so terrible before that having relief from that pain, it's like, I don't care if there's an ache or if it's whatever, it's got nothing on the pain I was having before. I'd imagine is kind of what's going on. But that was a whole misadventure. There was also like some really great news from my parents that I cannot and probably shouldn't share in detail just yet. But that all happened on the same day, too, that I found out about that. And I was like, the whiplash is whiplashing. Like, oh my gosh, like some really exciting and fantastic news for my parents, and this really like rough news like on Adam's side of things. So I was just like, I'm going to go just sit down and try to self-regulate a little bit for a minute. So it was quite a week. It was a heck of a week. And it was kind of capped off on Thursday evening when Micah was kind of a little stir crazy. I thought, well, I need to go get Adam some soup and like soft foods, because he was going to need to be on a soft food diet for at least a couple of days. But I need to go to the store and get some stuff because we just don't have that. It's like I had like one emergency can of chicken soup. It's like, get some more, get some pudding, some popsicles, something. So I took Micah with me to the store, and I noticed partway through, I was like, are you wobbling? are you having a flare up with like your hip leg kind of issue right now? And I was so taken aback and very, very concerned because he had not been super active prior to this, which has always, in the past, that's the pattern that we've noticed, is that sometimes when Micah is very, very active, like running around a lot or having to be on his feet a lot, even walking a lot, then sometimes he'll have these, we call them flare-ups, just for lack of a better term, where then it's just like we think he's dealing with some kind of inflammation or something going on with his hip and leg. We're in the process of exploring all this. I talked about this a few weeks ago. We saw the ortho, and they were kind of like, this is a really weird case. We have no idea what's really going on. Why don't you try neurology? And now we're in the referral process for neurology, which that's gonna be a whole thing. But anyway, so we're working on figuring out what's going on, but I was just so concerned to see he's having this problem and it's like out of pattern, out of like kind of the usual things that we're used to seeing this happen in. And so then I was in a little bit of a tailspin of like, what's going on? What do we do? And he got off his feet, he rested, and he was fine. But yeah, that was a little bit stressful too. So it was the last couple of days of the week just felt like kind of a lot on top of like I'm not sleeping well. I'm not getting enough sleep. And I'll tell you what, we started this year with going to bed at a good time. And I felt like I was getting more sleep and getting better sleep and getting up at a better time during the day. And the past week, it feels like that's kind of gone out the window a little bit. And I feel it. I feel worse. Like physically and mentally, I do not feel as well. So I'm going to really fight to get kind of back on track. But yeah, that's like my anxiety's at play. But then the less you sleep, the worse your anxiety and other, mental health struggles can be. And then it just feeds into each other, right? So going to see if maybe this trip maybe will help kind of reset too. I don't know. I'm just going to do what I can and keep chugging and plugging away on the things that we can control to try to improve what we've got going on that are sources of stress. So yeah, but it's like I said, it's been a good weekend. It's been a relaxing weekend, which is really just what we all needed after kind of a hectic roller coaster of a week for sure. Let's see what else has been going on. Let me see. Micah also had his part 2 of his IEP meeting. I keep hitting the camera. Sorry, guys. This week, and that went really well. They have some really great ideas for kind of dipping our toes into some partial mainstreaming, which has always been something we've wanted to revisit doing after a very, very, very a failed attempt at trying a different, like less restrictive special ed program in another school last year that just completely backfired and was a huge setback. Now we're back in a school, in a program with a teacher that is a wonderful, wonderful fit, but they're still going, okay, he's really about at like grade level when it comes to a lot of his academics. And so what are some ways that we can meet him and like challenge him in a good way and in a way that he's wanting? Like he loves to learn. Like one of his rewards, one of the things that he loves to do is like worksheets. I wish I were kidding. That's like when he gets bored, when he finishes all his work early, or if he's like needing a little motivator, like they just have a stack of like math and reading kinds of worksheets and stuff at one of their centers, and he loves getting to go and pick one to do. So they're looking like, okay, what are some things we can do then to challenge him and meet like this curiosity and this desire to learn that he has. So I'm really endlessly grateful for our IEP team and everyone at our school. They're just absolutely fantastic. I love them so much. So yeah, we're going to dip our toes into seeing how he does in Gen Ed for like little bits of time, kind of see how he does with going in for some math or things like that. So yeah, I hope that goes well. And I'm glad that we trust this team well enough to try something like this, So we'll see how that all goes. And then Connor, I guess I chatted about Connor a little bit too, but he's doing well. He's excited for our trip. And we're going to make sure we take plenty of our Uno games along with us so that he can challenge my parents to a rousing game of Uno, No Mercy, Uno Flex, Uno Flip. There's so many variations of Uno out there, you guys. It's kind of nutty, but Connor loves it. And as far as what I've been reading and watching and listening to, I'm so happy that my reading bug is still here. I'm glad that it came back after a really, really long time away. And I've been just devouring these Brandon Sanderson books as fast as I can, get through them. And I had used a bunch of Audible credits at one point a few years back to stock up on some of them. And so they've just been sitting in my Audible library and I've been able to go through those. So I finished Elantris and earlier in the week. And then pretty much immediately started Warbreaker, which is another Brandon Sanderson book. And I just finished that one today. I always keep the spoiler free, you guys know. So just in case these are books that you might try to get into or are maybe in the process of reading. Warbreaker is, as it stands, it's a standalone in a way, but it's still part of like the greater Cosmere is what he calls it, like the greater like giant universe that he's created. I don't know how it all ties in yet, but this one I had a harder time sort of really feeling like I was absorbed in, like the world building and magic system and everything. It wasn't totally clicking with my brain as easily as some of the others were, but I was still enjoying a lot about the characters and some of the relationship dynamics and everything. And the ending I thought was really, really rewarding. And I thought, it was really satisfying. And there's always twists. That's like a whole thing with how he writes is there's always different twists where there were hints along the way that you kind of, at least for me, I kind of look back and I'm like, oh man, I can't believe I missed that. Like that should have been so obvious. But yeah, it was really fun to get through that one. And I'm enjoying his writing a lot and how he tells stories and how he writes these characters and these worlds. So if you are a fantasy fan at all, I definitely recommend taking a look if you haven't already. I'm so late to the Brandon Sanderson game for sure, but have been enjoying it a lot. So next up, I have this flowchart graphic that Kate had shared with me a while back that I've been using for reference, and I did pick her brain yesterday too to say like, what should I do next? Is it time? Do I start the Stormlight Archives or Stormlight Archives? I actually don't know. I'll double check that, so I'm not one of those people that can't get it right. But I think that's probably what I'm going to go with and start the Way of Kings next up. So the thing with these books is this particular series of his, these books are huge. The way that Adam kind of was comparing it, because I was talking to him a little bit about it. He hasn't read any Brandon Sanderson books, but I was talking about like, I've gotten into this series. I actually think you'd like it. Adam really liked the Dune books. I'm like, I just have a feeling you would probably like these. But I was describing the length of like the first Stormlight Archives. I was like, it was over 1,000 pages. And he was comparing it to The Stand by Stephen King. But it's like Brandon Sanderson is cranking out these insanely long novels with ridiculous speed. So, anyway, the first book in this series is 500,000 words and like over 1,000 pages. It's an audiobook form. It's over 45 hours if you're listening at just regular speed. I listen to my audiobooks at 2 times speed, so I'll make my way through it a little bit faster. That's still going to be a lot of book, but I'm very, very, very curious, and I just hope I like it. I'm cautiously optimistic, but I'm also a little bit nervous. I hope that it works and makes sense for my brain. So yes, fun to have actual books to mention in this part of my WIP and Chat. What about you guys? What have you been reading? And or what have you been watching or listening to? Watching wise, this week I watched I actually don't remember the name of it, but it's the new docu-series on Netflix that's like behind the scenes of America's Next Top Model. That was really interesting to watch. It's only 3 episodes, and each episode is, I think, around an hour, so it's a pretty quick watch in the grand scheme. But I keep seeing conflicting information on whether or not Tyra Banks was involved on the production side of this docuseries. But as someone that, I don't want to use the phrase I didn't grow up watching America's Next Top Model exactly. I was watching it like it was in its earliest seasons or cycles when I was in high school and college. And I watched a lot of it in high school and college. And a lot of the messaging at the time and a lot of stuff they were doing, it really aged really badly. There's so much that aged really, really, really badly. And in retrospect, we can look at and go, this was such problematic messaging, harmful messaging, not just to the people watching, but like obviously like to the models too, like to both. And so in this docu-series, honestly, a lot of the judges and Tyra that they had on, they were not really, in my opinion, wanting to take much, if any, accountability. It was a lot of like, well, at the time, this, and oh, well, that wasn't, I wasn't really in charge, or blah, blah, blah of this. It was, there was not really any ownership taken. And I think some of that can be true to an extent, but there was a lot, in my opinion, of just not taking accountability for things that you really should have. The one positive, in my opinion, about the docuseries was that it really did give a platform to a lot of the models, and they were not holding back what they thought or how they were feeling. And so I was glad for that. I was glad that the models, those women, had a chance to come on and talk about the ways that this experience had affected them. Some good ways, but a lot of it was like, this was really problematic in this way or that way. So I don't know if you watched that show when it was airing as well. I would recommend it. I would just, I don't know, I really want to dig and find out the context of, was Tyra involved in the production of it? Because here was the kicker. It was at one of the, this, I guess, tiny bit of spoilers maybe for this, but like at the very end, like one of the last things that she was talking about was like, you have no idea what we have planned for cycle 25. And I was like, was this all her wanting to make a comeback and bringing back this show? Are you serious right now? I don't know. So I should probably poke around and find out more, but I was kind of, my flowers were gasted. I was flabbergasted when I heard that. I was like, did I hear that right? Did she just do like a pitch, like a little promo for trying to a revival? Okay, well that is a choice. That is a decision that she made. Oh man. And okay, so we've done reading, we've done watching, and then listening to. I am currently taking suggestions for the soundtrack for our trip. Connor, I'm sure, will ask to listen to some of the Struts, which is this band that he really enjoys a lot, which I think is so cute. And I don't know if you guys have any other road trip tunes for things we can listen to that is, of course, kid-friendly, at least relatively speaking, then let me know. I also meant to say earlier, I'm so sorry, I meant to say earlier when I was talking about Micah's flare-up that when I talked about this, like what Micah's got going on a few weeks back, I wanted to thank how so many of you, I want to thank everyone that was kind and supportive in the comments, and many of you sharing your thoughts and your insight and suggestions, many of you bringing to my attention the idea that there might be something autoimmune going on here, that a lot of what I was describing just was kind of sounding sort of familiar, and I want to thank you for doing that. You were not overstepping at all, because I feel like this is going to be one of those things that is going to be hard to pin down. And I am a little bit at a loss for the questions I should be asking and where to even start with when it comes to researching this and really trying to figure out what's going on. So thank you. And I always welcome anything that anyone would like to share that relates to kind of what I'm talking about. So thank you for doing that. I really appreciate it. And I definitely was taking notes and taking everything to heart. So yes, just wanted to mention that. As far as what I've got coming out this week, as long as it arrives without any issues to my parents' place in Arizona that they're renting, I will have a sneak peek from DAC to share with you, hopefully on time this week. They'll record there. And I'm recording ahead. I'll have a fairy tales and folklore video for you on Saturday and possibly a Pure Bliss Wax Company kit. And then I have 1 or 2 new to me companies that I have to unbox, as well as I filmed my post review for Monty God of the Moon that may go up while I'm gone, since that's already filmed. We'll kind of see. I'm going to see how much filming I can get done in the next couple evenings and get ahead from home as much as I can. But if you made it all the way to the end, why don't we go with, I know this was the backup emoji for last week, but we'll make it the official emoji for this week. How about just any kind of fruit emoji? Your favorite fruit emoji in honor of the pomegranate that we had front row center that we got a little bit done of. We got a little bit of like her outfit here and then a lot of outlining with that dark red color. So anyway, you guys, thanks for spending some time with me today. Feel free to subscribe if you're not already subscribed. I do these WIP and Chats every week on Monday. Next week's may be late because we're coming back on Sunday night and I'll probably be a bit tired to record, but it all kind of depends. So, excuse me, we'll see how that goes. Yeah, let me know how you're doing and what you were working on while we chatted today. Thank you again for watching, guys. I really enjoyed spending time with you like I always do for these WIP and Chats, and appreciate that you were here today. So have a really wonderful week, friends, and I will chat with you in the next one. Bye.